sponsored actors engaged in illegal behavior. These aren't just Chinese officials employed by the Chinese government. They can be hackers, businessmen, researchers, or front companies acting on behalf of state actors. And often they're recruiting or co-opting insiders, employees of American companies, trusted. As noted, the actors named in this indictment were members of a hacking group operated in China and associated with the Chinese Ministry of State Security, a group known as APT-10. The members of APT-10 conducted major computer intrusion campaigns targeting U.S. government agencies and companies both around the country and across the world, and stealing hundreds of gigabytes of intellectual property and confidential business information. The list of victim companies reads like a who's who of the global economy, from biotechnology, agriculture to healthcare, from oil and gas exploration to NASA. Healthy competition is good for the global economy. Criminal conduct is not. Rampant theft is not.
That's a
cheating
commercial right
is
there.
not. There is no light on this issue between the United States and our law-abiding international partners. We're all standing shoulder to shoulder to condemn this conduct. The scope of this investigation was broad, as you might imagine, involving field offices from New Orleans, New York, Sacramento, San Antonio, and Houston. And we're incredibly grateful not only to our DOJ colleagues, but to our partners in the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, the Defense Criminal Investigative Service, and the Department of Homeland Security for their work. We also appreciate our partners in the Department of Defense's Computer Forensic Laboratory, who worked with us as we analyzed hundreds of malware samples. With this malware, FBI and NCIS investigators found key links between major victims and APT-10's command and control infrastructure. After identifying additional victims here in the United States and around the world, the FBI's Cyber Action Team, which is our elite rapid deployment force, and our cyber counterparts at DHS deployed to multiple locations to provide technical support and investigative assistance. We also worked with our counterparts in the NCIS to investigate APT-10's theft of personally identifiable information from more than 100,000 U.S. Naval Service members. We are deeply concerned about American innovation ending up in the wrong hands, including by nation states like China intent on stealing the fruits of our research, our economic investment, our development, and our hard work for their gain. This is conduct that hurts American businesses, hurts American jobs, hurts American consumers.
And you're only saying something
Chinese
about it
government
because it's
is
been
not
exposed
pulling
forever.
any punches. They want what we have so that they can get the upper hand on us. And they're strategic in their approach. They're playing the long game. But let me be perfectly clear. No country should be able to flout the rule of law. So we're going to keep tackling this illegal behavior with everything we've got, every investigative technique, every piece of intelligence, every partnership from federal, state, local, and international partners to private sector, community, and academic partners.
Doing our job.
And we're going to keep calling out this state-sponsored behavior for what it is: illegal, unethical, and unfair. It's going to take all of us working together to protect our economic security and our way of life. The American people expect and deserve no less. Thank you.
Yeah, no less, but we deserve a hell of a lot more.
Good morning. I'm Jeff Berman, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Today, we announced charges against two Chinese hackers, Zhu Hua and Zhong Shilong, for their in the massive theft of intellectual property business information from U.S. and foreign companies, as well as U.S. government agencies. The extent and types of data stolen by the defendants is shocking and outrageous. As the Deputy Attorney General and the Director noted, the defendants are alleged to have been members of a hacking group operating in China called APT-10. As alleged, these defendants engaged in their hacking campaign in association with the Chinese Ministry of State Security. Over the past 12 years, APT-10 has mounted a series of sophisticated computer intrusion campaigns that targeted more than 45 commercial and defense technology companies in the United States, as well as managed service providers and their clients across the globe. As the indictment alleges, the defendants used spear phishing to install malware that stole the usernames and passwords of employees of the victim companies. Then,
like
once
Google
in the victim
does?
systems, the defendants, using methods to prevent detection, transferred
Google
valuable
Maps
information and
vans,
data to computer servers
driving
that they
around
controlled.
stealing everybody's passwords.
A more recent phase of the conspiracy targeted managed service providers, or MSPs. By compromising the
got the
computer
shit from Google.
systems of an MSP, the defendants gained a foothold to more easily compromise the computer networks of the MSP's numerous clients across the globe. As the Deputy Attorney General noted, the defendants compromised the data of MSP clients located in 12 countries: Brazil, Canada, France, Finland, Germany, India, Japan, Sweden, Switzerland, the United Arab Emirates, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The defendants' hacking campaigns also targeted U.S. government agencies, including the laboratories of NASA, the United States Department of Energy, and the U.S. Navy. Members of APT-10 stole personal confidential information, including social security numbers and dates of birth, from over 100,000 Navy personnel. It is galling that American companies and government agencies spent years of research and countless dollars to develop their intellectual property, while the defendants simply stole it and got it for free. As a nation, we cannot and will not allow such brazen theft to go unchecked.
Work.
I have a message for these defendants, the other members of APT-10, as well as their associates in the Chinese Ministry of State Security. The U.S. government will work relentlessly to identify you and to bring you to justice. You cannot remain anonymous, even if you are halfway across the world. While these defendants remain at large, they are now fugitives from the American justice system, which has a long memory. We look forward to the day when these defendants will be in a courtroom in the Southern District of New York to be held to account. I want to thank Director Wray and the FBI. I would also like to thank the Defense Criminal Investigative Service and the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Their work in this case has been extraordinary and serves as an example of what can be accomplished by collaboration among U.S. law enforcement agencies. We are very lucky to have them as partners. I would also like to thank the prosecutors in my office who investigated and prosecuted this case, AUSA, Sagar Ravi, as well as the co-chiefs of our complex fraud and cybercrime unit, Timothy Howard and Daniel Noble.
Okay, we're going to take a few questions now. Steve.
Mr. Rosenstein, what can you tell us about the nature of what the hackers stole and how much damage it did to the target companies?
So I can tell you only what's described in the indictment in this case, which describes the types of industries that were affected. We don't have a lot of detail in there about the particular information that was stolen. And of course, we don't identify victims in our indictments. We do work with victims to ensure that they're able to take any appropriate remedial action. But let me ask Director Wray to talk about that in more detail.
So as the Deputy Attorney General said, we do work closely with the victims, but we don't want to compound their harm. What I would say is that we had great cooperation from a whole number of companies and organizations on this so that they can take appropriate steps. But the kind of information we're talking about here is confidential information and by definition valuable, very valuable information for these companies.